This frame is one of the weirder ones to play, in my opinion. How do you even describe how to play this? It's basically an amalgam of two different frames put together. Being Volt with a bit of spice from Harrow. Let's start with her abilities, since they're the easiest to explain. Arc Sphere is literally just an orb. Her grouping ability, Coil Horizon, just does absolutely absurd DPS with an augment that allows you to basically turn into a sock that allows you to use soccer. Cathode Current is really good, and then Reverse Rotor's Well. Yeah, no. What you really want is Cathode Current, because... yeah. But basically what you really want is just a but for aesthetics you just want simple white and gold. For weapons I recommend for her, for melee I recommend the Dex Nikonata, specifically with Disciple's Merit. This allows you to just deal absolutely broken damage. You could also go with the Skajati, but if you don't have the Dex Nikonata, considering this is a 2-year-old weapon from an anniversary event that isn't coming back, I don't think. But the next Nikonata starts off with pretty good crit. At 24%, which is doubled for heavy attacks if you're using Sacrificial Steel. Well, basically, you want to use Seal mods. Now, why do you want to use Sacrificial mods? Simple. Sentience exists pretty much everywhere. I know that you can get up to a 550% heavy attack boost for crit, but like that is just insane. Now this setup I recommend here is absolutely broken. For a secondary, you can use pretty much whatever, but for a primary, use something with good critical. Both critical chance and critical damage. However, something to note is, like, this is literally my only thing, and I don't have a crit damage mod. Like, the Corn Renf only use the primary fire because it kinda sucks without it. Now, as for, like, stuff, but for the guns, you really just want something that hits really hard. There's not really much for me to say here. But also, you want good amounts of ability duration. If you can get Augur Reach, but I don't have Augur Reach on this setup. Oops. But also Energy Nexus, because this is one of the most energy-hungry frames in the entire game. A lot of her abilities cost 50 or more. Like, Rotor's Well is extremely powerful, dealing immense amounts of damage, especially with crits. Because her passive makes it so that her abilities have a 10% chance to deal crit for each electricity status. The wording of it is weird and janky as hell, but basically it boils down for every electricity passive, for like a electric status, there is an extra 10% crit. However, this can only go up to a basic red crit, which is actually not that bad. For her abilities, Arc Sphere is a very insane orb that deals good area damage when started, but damage falls off hard after you cast it. However, you can also bump up that damage pretty good with some augments. Coil Horizon is her grouping ability. It can be imploded manually or after 2 seconds. Cathode Grace. This gives you crit and energy regen with duration per kill. And then her Rotor's Well gives you some of the most insane damage I've ever seen. And especially for a frame that has barely even been out for a while, it's still pretty good that they already have this sort of thing. For a mod setup, this is fine. It's pretty shitty, though. Duration per kill is one of her things on Cathode Grace. But also, Rotor's Well just gives her, it just does damage. However, for her prime, the energy is less of an issue, but her survivability was only slightly bumped up. But not just slightly, it was bumped up a lot. But the problem is she's a shield tank with a 2-second shield gate. Without shield mods, she is very good. In my opinion, what you should really be using is Molt Augmented for extra strength. Because she wants...
Think you so smart, but see how I take a whole sector! Just for me, none for you. Smart. Smart.
I hate this guy.
Yes.
Yeah, but also, like, yeah, no tap out. Like, this is one of the best frames I've ever played.